ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. 2008 Pontiac Torrent. I haven't made a YouTube video in quite some time. I'm just trying to get some stuff out of here. Really didn't have the time since it is just me, but anyway, this one here, blow the head gasket. Long story short, it's going to get a set of head gaskets. Hopefully that's all we're going to replace on it. That's a 3.4 liter. I haven't ran into a lot of these here that got warped so bad we couldn't use them. We'll have to check it. It's late in the evening right now, so not going to do anything tonight. Reason we're under the car right at this very moment. We'll take a peek up here. Whoop, maybe if I learn how to operate that light. So not that it's going to do anything, but I'm going to take some penetrant here and I'm just going to spray some stuff down. There is a crossover pipe up top. You can probably see that in the camera. We've got to get these bolts out of the exhaust flange here. That will have to come off, and it goes over here. Back up on this. So it goes over here. It don't look too bad. I'm gonna let that soak overnight. Like I said, got to drain the coolant out of it. So let me grab a light over here. Try to show this to you. On these particular radiators, we have our drain right here, easy to see there. So these twist and pull, twist and then pull. That's how they start draining. So we got to get the coolant out of here. We've put a well, the vehicle's been at another shop and they put a thermostat and sorry about this. I'm just having a look at they put a thermostat in it. It come here because it was still overheating. I told the lady that, long story short, we're going to throw some parts at it because the water pump that I put in it, actually very quick to put one in these vehicles, and they're cheap. So there's no need in, well, back up. The diagnostic time to really find out what's going on with it would have been the same amount of money than putting the water pump in it. If in the event it has blown head gasket, which it does, you're not out anything because I'm still going to replace the water pump. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but either way, trust me, this lady here is not out another extra dollar for it. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get to draining on the coolant, and that is it for tonight. Then I'm shutting her down, and we'll continue this tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to try to show the whole entire process along with the with checking the heads and all that good stuff. We'll see if we can step through there together, and maybe you can use that. Maybe get that bucket a little bit closer so I don't make too much of a mess. Of course, at the same time, when we're under there and we break exhaust loose, we'll also have to drain the oil. All that's going to have to be changed. I see that we've got some leaks down there. On this particular vehicle here, I might put another 15 minutes into it and yank the oil pan off of it. I believe that these here come off really fast. If we can clean it up, we're going to clean it up. I mean, I'm going to do that part of it, especially since we're going to have antifreeze going down there anyway. So we'll yank it off and clean it up, get it resealed, and hopefully eliminate some of the leaks. I figured I'd add that in there. I did pull the air box out of it, pulled the EGR tube off of it. Sits in the front, in the very front, up top. Very easy to get to. Air box, not a big deal there. 1 10mm bolt, 8mm on the snorkel that sits up there on the intake. Of course, we have to pull the intake and all that good stuff. Try to do a little bit better on the camera this time. Maybe get the camera in front of where I'm working. Might switch to a GoPro. I don't know yet. We'll see. Notice something else while I'm talking about it. Not that it really matters. The front end. This vehicle's been in a front end collision, no doubt about that. They replaced the parts here. They've got frame plates straightened up in front. I've noticed that the front skirt was pretty loose. So literally a couple of clips on the bottom and a couple of screws got the whole thing out of my way. Because I've also noticed there's wire looms that are dangling. Can you see that? Get up here. So we've got wire looms dangling. I seen that from the bottom. Everything is kind of just hanging right there loose. I figured this will get me a little bit closer to the engine because we're gonna have to reach in there. As you noticed, I've already took the wheels off this thing anyway, but a few seconds worth of work here to get that apart gets me a lot closer to the work. I'm all for it, and I'm going to see about getting some of these clips right here fixed and get that wire, get the wire put back up where it needs to go, and make sure that she's not going to have a problem with that later on. She's an older lady, so I want to get it back, hopefully, where she don't have to worry about it. So that's the game plan. That right there is kind of interesting. None of this is hooked up. Look at the brackets, how the brackets are on this vehicle, and then you look over here. They, I don't know, they left these burrs sticking out. They got happy with a cutting wheel or something like that. I don't know if they ended up bending it or whatever. It's kind of funny. They torched on it. Didn't even bother to put anything back on it. And the lady lives in a Rust Belt too, so that's pitiful. They didn't straighten that up for crap. Radiator's just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of, oh, it's just kind of broke. Of course, that don't surprise me none there, you know, the way the brackets are sitting. Well, that one seems to be attached, but bracket is not holding. I mean, looking pretty bad, looked pretty rough. But anyway, just figured I'd share that. I thought it was kind of funny. Not really funny to do that to a vehicle, but anyway, get my meaning. Okay, back to the vehicle. Now, hood's coming off. Like I said, air cleaner, got to remove it. Electrical connectors, whatever connectors you got, undo those. You're going to have to undo them. Undo the throttle body. The water bypass over here on the side, we'll have to undo that anyway. We'll go ahead and remove the clamps off the water lines. We'll go ahead and do that now. As a matter of fact, there's one more thing I did say I was going to do a little bit better on the camera. I want to do a couple of these shots here for the customer, but this is where we're at right at the moment. As a matter of fact, pause that camera up. I'm going to try something here. I got to invest in a smaller tripod, something that's adjustable as well. I've got a little one, but it can't be adjusted anyway, neither here nor there. Shoot, the screen is the wrong way. Gotta get that screen turned around and make sure you can see. Hose clamps with water hose. So we'll get all them moved over. The lady's got a bleeder over here that is broken. This particular bleeder right here, when I try to look it up, vehicle specific in the parts store, it does not show. This one here is broken off. We didn't break it, this was broke already, but Dorman is a brass part, so Dorman is okay. So Dorman makes that, so we're going to replace that. Now this is a pretty good part to be replaced. Not like I really need it, but we're going to replace it anyway. There's still a ton of shops out there that do not evacuate the system like they're supposed to, so always a good idea to have that in there. I need to replace that O-ring. that yet. Let's see if we get that crap off the backside here. Of course, you won't be able to see that really good, but you get the idea of what I'm doing here. Try to get the hoses that I can get. $13 mil. Water elbow. A little bit too long. Got a new set of gear wrenches, standard wrenches, but they're an XL. Obviously, a lot longer, so. Of course, long wrenches are great when you need leverage, but they can also be too long for the job. I'll show you something here in just a second. Why are we not slipping out? Come on. That's why. Long story short, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. I see this all the time. The vehicle has been in another shop just before it came here. And when I said just before it came here, I mean just before it came here. We're talking within a few hours. They put a thermostat in it. Look at this. Look at the film on here. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is poor. That is, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that's piss poor. To do a job like this, you know, why not clean that up? There's no reason why you can't. Heck, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 seconds. Took 11 seconds to clean this up. Now, why would somebody stick it on there with all that crud on here? I don't get it. But anyway. Just a little rant. Little side note, little rant. That is poor service. Now I'm done. Come on, push lock. O'Reilly brand. Ultima Select, that's why I know that. case you're wondering, that's O'Reilly brand spark plug wires. Well, they might be had other places. I don't know that. I guess I shouldn't have said that. Oh wow. Go ahead and get that hose off of there. Matter of fact, we're going to undo the whole entire thing. Of course, kind of goes without saying, if you yanking plug wires off, take a picture or look at my video. No, just kidding. Take a picture where the wires go. I mean, that might help you to know where they go back. They, if they're factory, they're marked. I think a lot of times when they're aftermarket, they don't mark them, so they kind of assume that you kind of sort of know what you're doing. One more back here. One more clamp, that is. I guess say what you mean what you say, right? Bingo. Nasty. I'm just randomly getting stuff out of my way. It don't matter what we do here. All got to be undone. Now the jumper is connected with a 10mm nut in this case. That's pretty nutty. Yes, sir. Some of that is definitely going to go on the floor. Anymore, I drain cooling system. After that, I don't worry about it anymore because it's impossible to catch all of it anyway. So I don't even make an effort. I'll drain what I can drain right away and just let it go. Worry about the rest on the floor later on when we get everything apart. Okay. Another clamp right here. If I can move that right at the moment. I cannot. Continue on with this. Of course, we've got us a fuel line over here. A push tab that's not so push happy. Okay. So, got that little fella. I guess this is at this point where people say, be careful with the fuel, it'll spray. Yeah, I know. Be alright. Oop, that's all it was. That's normally all it ever is, unless you're on a high pressure side. And this vehicle definitely ain't got no high pressure side, so anyway, pick some random spots and just do it to it. Jumper is loose this way. Minus the fuel line, that is. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. All right, moving on with a 13 mil. Oh, that one went tight. I'm going to go ahead and put the nut back on this stud here. One less thing I got to go looking for after a while. This one is fixing to go back on as soon as I loosen the alternator up, 15 mil. And I feel like using my new wrenches. Oh yeah. There is a bracket here that goes to this alternator. I haven't taken the belt off yet. I'm sure you've noticed that when I had the camera on this side here, but I ain't worried about it. Kind of keep that in mind though, that we want that, we want to tighten that up before we put the nut back on later on. Otherwise you're going to pinch some stuff and that's probably not ideal. That's this little bracket right here. Save that. Put your bolt back in it with no bolt goes in it. We'll leave it right there where it goes. Over here, we'll undo that last studded bolt. And put the, holy smokes, put the nut back on that stud. Oh, 10 mil. Move on to that, to the coil over here. Get my cart a little bit closer there, guys. That's the whole purpose of having a service cart, so you can have it right with you. Ooh. Oh, dropping stuff. One thing I guess I need to add, I'm able to get right up here close to it. For one, I got the wheels off and you did see me take the front end off the vehicle. Otherwise, I would be leaning way, way further than this. So kind of bear that in mind. If this looks easy, that's because I did go ahead and remove the extras. So coil packs on these here, you have 2 more bolts on the bottom. I do believe that's right. You kind of have to feel your way around. Actually, I think I'm gonna keep moving on with this here for right now. Undo some of this because that does definitely make it easier later on for us. Throttle body needs to be cleaned for sure. As a matter of fact, not just the throttle body, we're going to put, we have a industrial washer, clutch washer, so we're going to throw the whole entire intake in it, because that it definitely cooks the inside clean as well. Kind of lay them wires off to the side a little bit, and we can pull this hose here off if we want to. Get it out of our way. But I was just fixing to say, but be careful with those. These are notorious for breaking. And guess what? These things are notorious for breaking off, and that's exactly what just happened. It broke off. We'll have to replace that. Now, there is Nothing I can do about this. This is not my fault. This will be charged to the customer. I know to be careful. They have two little tangs on them that slip inside, and it's not uncommon for them to break when they have any kind of age. Harness for the injector. Actually, I'm going to flip the bracket before we do that so it's easier to get to. This is a 2-for-1, so you have to watch. That's what holds the tube that we just pulled off. So we kind of want to make sure that that gets put back on later on. So let's get down to the business end of the wires. We'll put this computer over here to the side. Get our case loosened out for the battery. And some people, I can already hear them scream, "You should have undone the battery." Whatever. Do it how you want to. Unhook the battery first. I don't care. These here, there's no need in taking the battery out of it. No need whatsoever. So, battery is out. I'm gonna work on these here clips. With the hood being off, kind of goes without saying, I'm gonna say it anyway. The light is obviously going to be much better for you. So I recommend get your partner in life or whatever, or buddy or whatever you got, and take the hood off. Set the hood down. Get you a couple of rags, and I always tape them on the bottom corners of the hood, so when I set it down on the corners, it doesn't peel the paint off of it. Especially helpful when you work on a lot of Lambos and stuff like that. Just kidding. I treat everything with respect, doesn't matter what it is. If it's somebody's jalopy, that's fine. I still treat it the same way I would my new truck. Now, speaking of service cards, if you're in the market, even for the Mr. Homeowner, that's the most valuable tool that you can do. Go to Harbor Freight, get you one of them service cards. They're handy for anything. It really don't matter what it is. They're handy for anything. Not just doing mechanic work. I mean, you can roll them around outside with garden tools on it, all that good stuff. I mean, they're just altogether handy. Oxygen sensor was not clipped in. I guess I should have got the water tube out of here. Just remember that got to go under the fuel line. Just spit that out here in just a second. Tuck that out of the way. The horse poop. That's one thing I forgot to spray. I meant to spray that last night and I didn't do it. Got the bypass tube. These here don't have a front exhaust part. They have I guess it's not really called a bypass. It's just an exhaust tube that wraps around. That's kind of what I'm spraying right here. I don't know if the camera can actually see that or not. I can get you in here. So get you a shot of that. That's right there. We have to undo that, so that's got to come off anyway. Like I said, we still got to do the coil, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the belt right there, take it loose. Might as well. Got to do it sooner or later. Might as well do it now. I don't use procedure. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you guys, I rarely ever look at service information. I normally do a lot of stuff by feel. Probably not a good thing to do, but I just did. That's easily to pinch your fingers. Well, we did it anyway. This situation here, pretty oily. I can tell you that. It's pretty nutty too, by the looks of it. Got a lot of hazelnut shells, what it appears to be. So, all these gaskets, they come with a kit. I'm going to replace all that. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and wash this one as well, and I'm going to pull the injectors and probably replace the injector O-rings on it. Go right along with it. A couple of dollars worth of peace of mind. What was I doing? Oh. Half-inch tool, by the way. That's a half-inch disconnect tool. In case somebody is wondering, which you probably are. I don't know how easy it is to get to that. That is a 15, I believe. It's 13. It's been a minute or two since I've done one of them. I guess there's really no need to lying about it. I'm kind of a GM guy. I'm a little bit, not partial 100%, but I'm a little bit partial to a GM. I just like them better. That's all. Just personal preference, not because they are better. I'm just saying myself, I like working on them a little bit better. So and I really don't think we can argue up to this point, that the assembly so far, that was pretty easy. I mean, we haven't had anything yet that we couldn't overcome very easily. Nah, they don't work with a ratchet. I knew that. $10 mil on the intake. Now these little fellows here, they get reused. Now we don't replace them. The head gasket. Yeah, we don't replace the head gasket. We reuse them. The head bolts, I meant to say, those will be replaced. Clear up a little bit of confusion on that, I guess, right quick. The head bolts, you do not have to replace them. That is a myth. I hear it all the time. They don't have to be replaced. However, it is recommended that you replace them. And on top of that, on top of everything else, if you go into a shop and they have to inspect the pitch of the thread, by the time they clean everything up and inspect all that, the labor time alone, you would have done bought a set of head bolts. But if you're doing it yourself at home, I don't know. Well, now it's going to depend on the availability for you to have a gauge, a thread gauge. That would be the easiest way to do. Measuring is kind of one of them things, you know. If you don't do it every day, that might be hard for you. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying that may be hard for you to do that. And by the way, the bolt that I'm working on over here in the corner, I piddled around with that. The easiest way to do it is with the gear wrench. You can't really get a socket and all that good stuff in them. And the runner's here, so to get that out, the easiest thing to do is just go ahead and grab your wrench and be done. Normally, they'll turn out by hand. This one here was a little bit hard-headed in the beginning. It's turning perfectly fine now, so no big deal. Now, these are going to be different bolts, so we'll have to kind of separate that a little bit. Get you some, go to Amazon or whatever your favorite online store is, and get you some of these cheap measuring cups, like these cheap measuring cups for like mixing paint and all that good stuff. They do come in handy if you want to separate stuff. They got enough volume to hold some stuff, and they're cheap. This bolt here, the intake's been off on this vehicle. This bolt here wasn't tight. It bounces around. They cross-threaded it is what happened, I would assume. It's either that or they hit the, they didn't bother cleaning the threads and try to put the bolt into some dirty threads. That is a possibility as well. Some people are interested, well, I hope most people are probably interested in things that I tell them. So if you're one of them guys that makes that comment about you talk too much, move on to another channel. We don't need you. Some people like to learn something. Some people like to know more than just do this, do that, do this. If you want a condensed version, well, go to another channel. I'm not going to edit everything. And no, it's not that I'm too lazy to do it. Kind of odd. They have the bolts that generally pretty tight. They had them loose, and the ones that are normally loose, pretty tight. I'm going to pause that camera up real quick. Before I forget, I'm going to make a note on that thread right there to pay extra attention to it. I'm going to have to go write that down.